Welcome to Teaching Canvas Online.
Students are very unprepared sometimes to take an online class. They are not anticipating how much time it's going to take. They're unprepared very often in terms of technical things. So they don't have reliable access to computers or to the internet.
The biggest challenge for me in teaching online is building relationships. And as we know, it's research-based that if you build relationships with students, they will meet your expectations and work hard to exceed those expectations. In an online classroom, you are forced to build these relationships and set the tone through electronic typing and emails and that sort of thing. So it can be really challenging for the students to really get to know you and to recognize that you really do care about them as people.
Grading the assignments as quickly as possible rather than waiting until the end of the week or the weekend to grade all the assignments. And the students do appreciate when their assignments are graded quickly and their grades are posted.
Making sure that you're really engaging the students and providing them high quality feedback. Because they're not in a class with you, it's not as easy to provide feedback.
I recommend that you grade and comment early and often. I try to make sure that I grade and respond to everything within 24 to 48 hours so that the students get in that rhythm of seeing my feedback, knowing that I'm actually there, knowing that they're not alone, that they can ask questions. I try to make sure that I always specifically respond to something in their assignment, whether it's a compliment or a question about something that they've written, so that they know that I am engaged.
I'm a big user of rubrics, and I let the students know the rubrics ahead of time, and then I use the rubrics to grade discussions, to grade virtually every assignment. This lets them know what I'm expecting of them. It's a form of communication. When they get the feedback back in that rubric, they know exactly where it was they messed up, so that the next time they do a similar assignment or the next time they do a discussion, they won't repeat themselves.
You'll want to incorporate as many types of feedback as you can. You can use audio feedback, video feedback, written feedback. In many classes, I'll provide some synchronous learning using either the conference or Adobe Connect or some other type of module where you can actually have conversations with the students to provide that information and make sure that they're understanding and having a positive experience with the course. Using Students Helping Students discussion board is another great opportunity to have students be able to ask each other questions versus always having to come to you as an instructor. So a lot of times another student may have an answer that they can help fellow students with.
When you grade something, you can also make a video when you grade. So I make sure that at least once a semester, instead of giving them written feedback, I give them verbal feedback in a video and say, hey, this is where you did well and this is where you need to improve.
We really want to encourage instructors to use early alert not only for face-to-face, but also for online classes, because sometimes they do make a big difference.
I am an avid user of the different things that Canvas has to offer, such as Canvas Analytics, that help to track student progress. I use those frequently, those different tools frequently, to be able to see if students are on track. Has the entire class looked at an assignment or looked at a page that I posted? Looking frequently at those types of analytics helps me know when a student is starting to fall behind, and I will reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed you didn't go and visit this module, or you haven't logged in this week. I do that a lot towards the beginning of the semester to help set a tone so that that student gets used to having to access Canvas and access things regularly, and I find that helps them to stay on track.
How I would use Canvas differently is the discussion forums. And in the online forum, you post the discussion questions, and I think it's critically important that the instructor be involved in that discussion throughout the week. It is not simply about posting a question and allowing the students to talk about it with one another. It's actually about the instructor getting in there and providing insight and specific feedback to students throughout the week as well.
Students really have the opportunity to do things at their pace, and they can interact with you on their time. You sometimes have to make sure that you've set aside the time for when you're going to do grading, when you're going to provide feedback, when you're available to students to help interact with them.
We're meeting the needs of a very diverse student population, not just diverse ethnically, not just diverse ability-wise, but diverse in terms of their availability and their times. Virtually all of my students have a job, at least part-time, if not full-time. Many of my students are parents. They just can't come to class, and I feel good that they can come to class through the computer and in Canvas online.
Two of the positive experiences of working on Canvas are the flexibility of time from an instructor's point of view, and also the benefit of working from home.
I feel that I am better prepared to teach my face-to-face classes. Also very rewarding to see how the planning and how you organize and you lay out the course, how it pays off.